Kia ora. This is John Winters, Supermarket Sleuth, talking to you once again from Auckland in New Zealand. And what are we talking about this week? Panic buying and more home consumption shoots up the small goods category in Australia. The small goods category in the Australian grocery market has grown at 12.3% in value compared with last year, with the latest quarter showing a surge of 19.6% compared with the corresponding period in 2019, according to Market Edge Small Goods Deli plus Dairy Database National Grocery Dollar Growth Percentage to 9th of the 8th 20 versus a year ago, supplied by IRI, I should say. Small goods, what are they? They're the types of products you get in meat chillers like bacon and eggs and things like that. They're not just fresh meat but are made into something else. According to IRI senior consultant Akash Ramesh, this is primarily a result of panic buying and increased consumption at home. He says the package section has been instrumental in driving this, seeing a 21.3% increase versus last year, and overshadowing deli, which is up 6.4% versus last year, which has grown at a much slower pace. He adds, with the fast-changing pandemic situation and social distancing rules, shoppers aren't keen to spend too much time in the supermarket and have a preference for pre-packaged meats. This has made the dairy section a fast and convenient route to purchase the category. Turning to the cost of grocery shopping, a recent price comparison in Australia between Aldi, Coles and Woolworths showed that national brand products were found to be 20% cheaper at Aldi than at Coles and Woolworths when comparing unit prices. Product examples include Colgate Optic White, 44% cheaper at Aldi, Nescafe Blend 43, 47% cheaper at Aldi, and Cadbury Favourites, 40% cheaper at Aldi. So it just goes to prove that shopping at the German discounter does save you money on national brands, as well as saving money with Aldi's own private label goods. And on that subject, Aldi is to support a national campaign aimed at helping Australian grocery shoppers understand unit pricing. Unit pricing highlights how much shoppers are paying for a standard measurement in grams or litres, allowing an easy comparison of products. The new campaign, launched by the ACCC, which is their Commerce Commission, in coordination with state and territory consumer protection agencies, aims to increase awareness about unit prices and how shoppers can utilise them. Aldi is a founding signatory to the Unit Pricing Code introduced in 2009 that displays unit prices in its stores. Now we turn to Australia's soft drinks. Australian-owned Bundaberg brewed drinks have come top in a recent survey of Australia's favourites. The business was the only brand to receive a 5-star rating in overall satisfaction, taste and packaging design. For the past 50 years, we've been the underdog in the competitive industry and are proud to be formally recognised by fellow Australians as their favourite soft drink, says the CEO of Bundaberg Brewed Drinks, John McLean. He comments, COVID-19 has been a challenging period for everyone, and we are appreciative of the supportive Australians have shown us. We hope the trend of Aussies supporting Aussies continues because it is critical we all rally behind each other right now, which is very true. All our research over the past 6 months shows Aussies have been looking for affordable indulgence. The remainder of the top 10 soft drink brands in descending order were Kirk's, Woolworths, Coles, Schweppes, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Fanta, Sunkist, Solo and Sprite. Now, interestingly enough, Bundaberg are very well known for their ginger beer, and they make their ginger beer, the sweetener they use instead of sugar is raisins, and it certainly is my favourite and a lot of people's favourite ginger beer. Quite different taste from other ginger beer brands. Now finally from Australia, and still on the topic of soft drinks, and this really affects New Zealand as well, the Australian and European distributors of Coca-Cola may be set to merge. This comes after Coca-Cola European partners launched an offer for Coca-Cola Amatil, known as CCA, which values the business at $9.28 billion Australian dollars. The bid, which is non-binding, would see the European company buy the 69.2% stake of CCA not owned by the Coca-Cola company, the original US business. CCA is one of the region's largest bottlers and distributors of ready-to-drink non-alcoholic beverages, liquor these days, and coffee in the Asia Pacific. Besides its presence in Australasia, it also has a significant operation in Indonesia and the Pacific Islands, and Australasia covers New Zealand as well. CCA is one of the... Sorry, I've said that. Why should a European company merge with another so far away? That doesn't seem to make sense. I could understand if, say, there were two separate Coca-Cola companies, one in Australia, one in New Zealand, merging. That would make sense. But to merge with a European company like that? Anyway, there's obviously a big plan behind this. Coca-Cola said it would ultimately drive sustainable and faster growth through geographic diversification and scale. It seems the benefit will be more for the buyer than for CCA. Okay. The merger would create a broader and more balanced footprint for the European business while almost doubling its consumer market. So presumably there are learnings each way. The European Coca-Cola company has got a lot to learn from what's happening down here in Australasia, and I guess there'll be some learnings coming in the other direction too. So interesting, that one. Now we cross the Tasman to New Zealand, having already been talking about New Zealand, to discover there's more innovation taking place in the supermarkets. In this difficult COVID-19 environment in which we find ourselves, many of us have been keeping in touch with work, school and friends and family through Zoom or Google Meets, while in Auckland supermarkets using Zoom in an entirely novel way. New World in Papakura, a southern suburb of Auckland, is trialling Zoom trolleys. Technologies are always changing in the supermarket industry, and this is yet another example. Customers at the supermarket now have an opportunity to test the concept for themselves using until the end of next month. So what is it and how does it work? The trolley has a hands-free large screen. First, a customer registers for their New World Club card, then downloads an app and logs in to use it. Enter the store, collect a device and prop it into a special holder on the trolley. Then scan a QR code and start shopping. It's called a Zoom trolley, but you won't need roller skates to keep up with it, and it moves at your pace. When you finish shopping, go either to a special or normal checkout and use the New World app to transfer your Zoom trolley shop to the point of sale system. On the way around the store, you must expect pop-ups on your screen, drawing your attention to savings and promos. In that way, of course, suppliers will pay the store for any of their pop-ups appearing on screen, and that helps the store pay for the system. Very clever stuff. Clever and cunning, wouldn't you say? But hold on. I've already discovered a flaw. When you enter your shopping list into the system, it automatically converts your list into alphabetical order. Oh, that's good. Oh, no, it isn't. That's not what I want. When I do a shopping list, the order is in the parts of the store that I visit. So as you go in, it's always produce to start off with in this part of the world. So I start with my produce and I work my way around the store, knowing where the various places are that I'm picking the things, and so I set my list up in that order. Now, if it turns alphabetical, the chances are I'll end up at the end of the shop and find watermelon. Because it's a W, watermelon. I've got to go right back to the beginning again to get watermelon. So I'm not impressed. I just hope that enough people encourage them, if there's not already, an option not to have it switched to alphabetical order, and then I'm happy. So will a lot of other people. I will be, I guess, too. Now let's put on our roller skates and shoot up to the UK. This week we'll catch up on Asda, the supermarket group that was owned by Walmart and now has new owners, although its previous owner still has a seat on the board, and some of the ownership of the company. According to a Daily Mail report, the new owners are to rent out large sections of the stores to third-party specialist retailers and businesses. This is part of a plan to create a distinct identity from the old Asda, adding that the chains such as Claire's Accessories, B&Q and The Entertainer have already been brought in. The newspaper said that the plan has been approved by minority owner Walmart, pointing to recent plans already to open Greggs outlets as part of the move. A company insider told the Mail they are essentially landlords already, and the model has worked very well for them. It would provide a solid income stream for Asda if new owners, e.g. Group, were to sell the business on to new investors, and I suspect very much that that's what will happen eventually. The new owners are said to be considering selling the supermarket's £3 billion clothing and general merchandise unit branded George. Quoting industry sources, the Mail on Sunday said the sale is among a number of strategies being examined, including separating off its alcohol business and having it run by a third party. Asda is also claiming to be the first supermarket in the UK to launch a vegan destination in-store entirely dedicated to plant-based products. The vegan aisles across 359 Asda stores consist of one bay of savoury products, including proteins, cooking sauces and condiments, and another of snacks and sweet lines. The chain has launched 104 new vegan SKUs. Now, what's an SKU? Stock keeping unit. And if you picture a shelf in your supermarket and you look at one product on the shelf, there might be several versions of that because they might have several lines going backwards. Well, one SKU is one line going backwards. So that's how they refer to them. So we'll start that again. The chain has launched 104 new vegan SKUs, including own-label meat pots, as well as a number of brands such as Mrs. Crimble's, Vigo, 2 exclusive Galaxy chocolate flavours and an exclusive falafel mix from Bosch. Why is it taking this step? Asda highlighted research that showed that 17% of UK households are reducing their meat intake or following a plant-based diet. The supermarket has already seen searches for vegan lines on its website increase by 275% since last year. Now that reminds me of a joke I heard long ago, and that was the lady who went into her local butcher, or she went up to the meat counter in her local supermarket, and she said, I asked several weeks ago if I could have meat without bones in, and she said, I'm still getting meat with bones in. And so the very polite person behind the counter said, well, I'm sorry, madam, but we did pass this on to the farmers, but unfortunately they found that if they developed cows without bones, they kept falling over. Yeah, awful joke, isn't it? Right, we move on. Now, finally, for the Asda stories, new research shows it's retained its title as the least expensive option for British consumers looking to keep grocery costs down in the wake of COVID-19, and that's for the 5th month in a row. Alerta, on an online price tracking website monitoring the price increases and decreases across 7 major UK supermarkets, also found that Tesco and Morrisons were more expensive than Waitrose. Now that's a surprise. The results were arrived at by carefully tracking how each online retailer priced the 43 items outlined in the government's Consumer Price Index shopping basket on a week-by-week basis, including eggs, milk and bread, as well as non-perishables like pasta, rice and cereal. The results showed Asda to be cheapest for 3 out of the 5 weeks, with Iceland taking the top spot for the last 2 weeks of September. Ocado was sold out of the same or like pasta in weeks 1 and 2, but this didn't affect the pricing, as it was still the most expensive across all the 7 retailers. Beers, and an example of this is San Miguel Premium Lager 440ml, saw the most consistent price fluctuations across retailers. Week 1, that particular product was $5.50 in Asda, but by week 3 the price had dropped to $4.60. Before leaving the UK and ending our report for this week, we turned to German discounter Aldi, and we couldn't leave the UK without talking about a discounter. It's opened its 900th UK store today in Sandhurst in Berkshire, having opened its first in Stechford, Birmingham in 1990. So that's 20 years. Let's see, 1910 to no, it's almost 30 years. Get my arithmetic right. Almost 30 years that it's been going in the UK. The milestone follows the discounter's recent pledge to invest £1.3 billion expanding and upgrading its UK operations over the next 2 years. Aldi is presently opening an average of 1 store a week as part of a plan to operate 1,200 stores in the UK by 2025. The stores in Sandhurst is the town's first Aldi and one of more than 75 stores the retailer now has in the southeast. Other places to get their first Aldi in 2020, the chain's 30th anniversary year, include Plimpton in Devon, Holyhead in Wales and Market Drayton in Shropshire. Now just one point about Aldi which I just picked up, so I'll just ad-lib that as we go along. I've noticed that in Ireland both Aldi and Lidl have been rapped on the knuckles by the government, and they've been told to stop selling unnecessary items from their centre aisle. Now, as we all know, that's one of the attractions of Aldi and Lidl, in that they sell all these other things, and they also do it in Tesco's Jack's store. They sell these lots of things, from slippers and trowels and anything you can name, and seasonal things in the centre aisle. And the government, because of COVID, has said no, you're not allowed to sell these products during lockdown. So my guess is they'll probably have to cover them over to stop people getting them while this COVID situation is in place, because supermarkets are open because they are essential to the community, because they sell food and cleaning products and so on, but the things in the centre aisle are non-essential. So I wonder if that will spread to the UK. Be interesting to see, because if it does, sorry about that, if it does, then that would take away the attraction of going to those discounters. Anyway, we shall see. Right, that's it for this week. My Facebook pages are Supermarket Sleuth, Magic Talk Auckland, and also Checkout, and of course this channel on YouTube, and I'm on Magic Talk Radio on New Zealand on a Saturday morning on Weekend Live at 10:45. But if that's impossible for you to get, you can go to magic.co.nz and click on Talk at the top of the page. But otherwise, it'll be on my Supermarket Sleuth page on Facebook sometime 1 or 2 days later. So catch you next week. Bye for now.